at this point we realize we've been scammed, and you know, they're all starting to get quite hostile at this point. We're trying our best to like sort of de-escalate the situation, and the police are like, well, come back to the police station and we can all talk about it. So all of us go to the police station and we're there in a big room talking about it. When is this rainy season gonna end? I swear, every time I want to go outside, it starts raining. Well, it looks like the rain has finally stopped, which is good. I actually don't mind when it rains early in the morning, because usually that means like, that's it for the whole day. So fingers crossed we're good for the rest of the day. So I've just come out for a walk and a bit of a skate. I'm gonna head down to the park, might cruise along the Green Mile. I'm gonna get some lunch somewhere, and I got a funny story to share with you too. As I'm sure a lot of you know, I'm putting together an ebook at the moment called Tales from Thailand, and it's basically just stories that people are telling me, that things that have happened to them here in Thailand. It can be good stories, bad stories, crazy stories, whatever, just any kind of adventure you've had here. So thank you to everyone that's been sending the stories through. The ones I've gotten so far have been awesome, and I'm going to use just about every single one of them. I plan to be compiling the stories for about another month or so, and then I'll put the actual book together and I'll release it. And I'm really excited to do this. Some of the stories I've been getting are just absolutely awesome. So if you have any stories that you want to share, send them through. The Green Mile, it's a really cool walk and it's an even better skate. So the last time I came along here, I actually spotted a really cool spot that I want to go have some lunch. And wouldn't you know it, I'm hungry. So I guess this is the perfect time to address this. So I often get asked, you know, do you really like all the food? You know, are you acting when you go, that food's delicious? And do I really like all the food as much as I say I do? And the reality is, I love the food here in Thailand. I very rarely have a bad meal. That being said, every now and then I do have one. Unfortunately, today was one of those days. So when I have a bad meal, or just an average, like a so-so meal, I just don't show it in the videos. You know, I like to show places and give recommendations for food to eat and places to go. So if it's not great, then I won't recommend it. It's just unfortunate I won't be able to include it in today's video, even though I've been like leading up to it here. It's all good. Good vibes only. All good, we'll head back to the park. I'm still having fun. Whoa. Sketchy. So on my first trip to Thailand, this is how all good stories start, right? First time in Thailand, first trip here, I was with 2 Australian mates, and we just came over here like on a total whim. We just came over one afternoon, we were drunk, decided to come out here. Anyway, we came to Phuket and we thought it would be an awesome idea to rent jet skis, and well, you can guess what happened. So being that it was my first time here, I hadn't done much travel. I was completely unaware that these things, like that they even happened at all. So we're at the beach and we could see that you could rent jet skis, and we thought, oh, this will be awesome. Let's rent jet skis. We'll go, you know, fang out in the water. It looked like a whole lot of fun. And it was, to be fair. The price was quite reasonable. I don't remember how much it was, but I remember, you know, thinking, oh, this is so unbelievably cheap. This is going to be a whole lot of fun. So 3 of us, we rented jet skis. We took off, went flying out in the water. We had an hour on the jet skis. So we're having an amazing time. Everything's going really well. We're way out in the middle of nowhere, having a whole lot of fun. You know, I love doing things like anything adrenaline related, I love. So we were having an awesome time. Then all of a sudden, one of my friends, his jet ski just died, like just conked out completely. and we are way out in the middle of nowhere. So we're just like, what the hell is going on? It wouldn't start. We've come to realize that it didn't have petrol. Now, when we rented these, it's not like a scooter. You get it and it's got no petrol in it, and it's your responsibility to fill it up. You know, you just assume they come full because they're on the beach ready to go, and that you just pay, basically sign a contract, jump on and take off. So for us, checking the petrol wasn't even something we even thought of. We then looked at the other two and they were both pretty much full tank of petrol. It's just one of them that had completely run out. So at this stage, we're probably about halfway through, maybe half an hour in, and we were so far out, we could barely see the beach. And what we did was, my friend whose jet ski had run out of petrol, he didn't want to sit there by himself. So I said, look, I'll stay with you. We sent my other mate back. He's like, go back to the beach, either get petrol or bring them out and get them to top it up, and then we'll be good to go again. So my friend went back and he got a guy. So my friend ended up coming back on a jet ski, and then one of the guys that was like that rented us the jet skis, he came out on another one and he had like a jerry can of petrol. So they came out to meet us. They topped up the jet ski, and then we said, you know, can we have more time or whatever, because we've been sitting out here. They said, no, your time is up already, you need to go straight back to the beach. So it was kind of shitty, but we were just like, okay, whatever, like, let's go back to the beach. So all of us headed back to the beach, and then when we got there, there's a whole bunch of guys waiting for us, and they all seemed like super upset. They're like, you've gone over your time, and we're explaining, yeah, but we ran out of petrol, and you know, I was waiting there with my friend, and they'd told my other friend to come back out with me. Well, I don't know if they directly told him to, but they said, you can come back out if you want, kind of thing. So he came back out to help us fill up the jet ski. And we thought we'd get a little more time, you know. We didn't expect to get a full half hour, but we thought there'd be, so naive, thought they'd be kind of lenient and be like, yeah, cool, have another 10 minutes and then come back. But obviously not. So we got back to the beach and they're like, why'd you go over your time? We're telling them, you know, it ran out of petrol. So we waited for them to come out, fill it up, and then we came basically straight back. And they said, well, why did you stay? Said to me, like, why did you stay with him? And I said, well, you know, he was way out in the middle of the ocean. I didn't want to just like leave him out there. And they said, no, you all have to pay, even the guy that ran out of petrol. They said, you have to pay as well, because it was whatever, you're overtime basically. And we were just like, come on, like, this is unreasonable, it's unfair. And they weren't having any of it. And then my friend who came back out with the other guy, he's like, well, then why did you tell me I could come out? And the guy's like, well, you can come out, but you just have to pay because you're on the jet ski for longer. And we're just like, at this point we realized, like, okay, we've been scammed. And you know, they're all starting to get quite hostile at this point. We're trying our best to like sort of de-escalate the situation and try and come to a reasonable agreement. Like, sure, if we're over time, like, yeah, we can pay, but let's do a reasonable amount instead of charging an entire other hour. And in hindsight, what we should have just done is stayed out for the whole other hour and just made the most of it, I guess. So they're getting all hostile towards us, and it's like turning into an argument, and we're like, you know, people are offering to fight us. They say, oh, me and you, like, let's fight. And it's like, hey, no, calm down, like, relax. And then there was a policeman walking along the beach, so we got them involved, and the police are like, well, come back to the police station and we can all talk about it. So all of us go to the police station, and we're there in a big room talking about it. And obviously we're the only ones that don't speak Thai, so there's a whole lot of conversation going on and we're not really involved in it. And then at the end, the long story short, it was like the police said, well, you signed a contract saying you'd be back at whatever time, 2 p.m. or whatever it is, and you got back at 2:15, so you have to pay for the whole other hour. And we explained why, but it's like, it doesn't matter, the contract is the contract, and whatever you said you have to stick to regardless of what happens. So this is going on, and then they're trying to make us pay for the petrol, and we're like, well, why would we pay for the petrol for one, but it's included in the others? And then the policeman told the jet ski guy, like, no, you can't charge them for the petrol. The whole thing was just, it was a really uncomfortable mess, and we're there on a holiday, and it's like, we're wasting our time sitting in a police station arguing about all this. And then we look at it, and it's like, okay, how much do we have to pay to just make this whole fucking thing end? So we just paid whatever it was. I don't remember. I think it was around like $50 each. It was more than the cost, like, to go over an extra hour was more than the cost of the original hour again. Now, maybe we should have checked for petrol. I don't know, like, it's just not something that entered our mind. We didn't think that that was something you'd have to do. We also naively expected them to be reasonable about the situation, but obviously it's just a money grab. And it's not to say that this happens all the time. You know, I did a video about scams in Pattaya, and I talked about this story, and people was like, oh, I will never get a jet ski. And it's like, well, it's probably best to avoid them, but it doesn't mean that they're going to scam every single person all day, every day. It's just something that happens from time to time. We were obviously the targets for this one. So in the end, we paid the money and went on with the day. And, you know, at first we were shitty. It's like, we just lost like hours of the day arguing this, you know, bad vibes. It was like not a great experience. But then in the end, we're in Phuket. So head to a bar, have a beer and have a laugh about it. And then when we're sitting back and realize like, whatever, it's just 50 bucks on a holiday that we're going to spend a whole lot more money than that anyway. It's just like, whatever, just roll with it. There are other common jet ski scams, like saying that they're damaged, or, you know, there'll be a scratch on there that they put tape over, and then when you're out there, the tape comes off. There's all sorts of things these guys can do. And like I said, it doesn't happen all the time, but it is something that happens. And me, I just don't bother renting the jet skis, especially not in a place like Phuket or Pattaya or something like that. So send me through your stories. Like I said, they can be anything, good, bad. The book's going to be for adults, so they can be as crazy as you like. I'm happy to post them anonymously, so send them through. I look forward to reading them. This book's going to be great.